Drea. Coming to you live from Kent, Washington. In the evening for a change, because I've had at least one of you come on during my morning stream on a Saturday and tell me it's 2 a.m. there. What the heck? I've got my friends here locally who I normally have beers with during this time of day on a Friday. Getting to see the behind-the-scenes tour of the live stream. All you're seeing is the behind? We'll fix that. Put a different view here. Hey, she's not here right now. Ah. Good thing they can't hear what you're saying. They're calling me a donkey. I actually have a donkey. She was here nosing in on the Zoom call. Going good here. Charcoal is nice and hot, which means that the coal underneath, coal on top of that's getting hot. Today I'm going to finish these tongs. Following my live streams previously, you'll have seen I'm making tongs. For everybody to see. Tongs. Parts of the tongs I've made already. And nice flat jaw tongs. It's pointed at the right part of the camera. Flat jaw tongs. Now take it over. Use them for making other things. And here they are, nearly done. I just need to get a rivet in them. Yes, riveting content right away. So, as such, I broke out a tool that a beginner blacksmith probably won't have, and is not necessary. But it'll make more precise creation here. Nope. No, it's not a hammer. It's not a hammer. I will use a hammer, but that is not what it is. It is a smithing assistant. This thing's sitting on top here. Allows me to act as if I have 3 hands. Why? What are the concerns, Mike? We're not having a bris here. Not today, not ever. That's a sure way to end up having the iPad in the water. Agree? That's cheese. No. And in French, they would call you something horrible for the fact that you actually believe in something. About time. There's the fire I'm looking for. What I just realized is that instead of working as hard as I thought I was going to have to work to make a rivet to go into, where the hell did I put the tongue rings? Ah, there they are. Instead of having to make yep. Open it up. Instead of having to make 0.35 inch or what is that, millimeters, 9 millimeter rivet out of thick stock, 16 millimeter round, I can do the same thing with 12.5 millimeter round. Not have to work so hard. So 12.5 millimeter down to 9 would be much easier than the other way around. And still give me plenty of material to make a rivet head. So Mike said he was going to go to a car show, but I didn't hear anybody else say they're going to do anything fun for their weekend. Cool. It's a good question. Why is my... Oh, well, hey, Trail Dust. Thanks for joining. I didn't expect to catch you in the evening. And, of course, I hit the wrong... There we go. Alright, I'm going to drop off the Zoom myself and pay more attention to the blacksmithing. Yep. Safety second. Have a great weekend. So which thing is bouncing, Trail Dust? I don't have a train going by to blame. And it could have been my fault just for bumping things. If that's that's likely because that's my Mac. Using the built-in camera from the Mac just for that view, because this isn't one I keep up all that often. The one I keep up the most is the Anvil, so I got that on a more stable platform. My Mac is on just an ARM here, and I've been bumping it a lot just trying to get things set up. But yeah, the wind probably could have something to do with that. I mean, I've got a little bit of a breeze, and I've got the side open for a change, so I can get a cross draft. Make sure I'm actually using the right microphone too. Properties. External mic. There we go. Save. I think it was using the wrong mic. Hey, Paul. Thanks for jumping on. Here, I set this thing up so that the folks in Australia get a chance to see this in action. And I seem to be getting a good contingent of the old guard. Working on the most of riveting of content this evening, the creation of a rivet. Songs are just about done. There's that, and that. I think I want to do just a little bit of cleanup work on the boss before I rivet them together. Just so they have a smooth surface against smooth surface to work with. No reason for it to bind up. Based on the little filing I'm doing here, looks like it was pretty close to smooth to begin with. Yep, nice and smooth. Do the same with the other side. Bring you down to this camera. And we'll focus. There we go. You can see the one that's freshly filed versus the one that's not. It is a smart move. Almost typically this time of night is time for me to be hanging out post the Zoom meeting I just left, where I hang out with friends that I've worked with previously. Let's see if we can prevent that squeaking. Having enjoyed part of a beer and get to finish off the beer, but this isn't heavy machinery, but probably just as risky for me to be playing around in fire with a beer in my hand. I think I'll skip that and enjoy it afterwards. Funny, the last few live streams, I've done things like this where I've had to do some non-forge work and thought to myself, I'm just about lost the fire in that forge. I think Paul saw that last week, and I wondered if I should start putting a piece of charcoal in there to keep it going. Only to then have this week's, oh no, not this week's. Was it this week's or was it another one I just happened to trip over on YouTube? But Black Bear Forge have a video talking about banking the fire. Reasons to do that. How to do it. He had said doing it with just a piece of wood. I reached out and asked if I could do it with charcoal just as well. He didn't see any reason not to. Everybody loves that sound. Let's see how that's going to rub against each other. Oh yeah, that'll be nice and smooth. Okay. That little bit of work done. Get these out of the way. Get the fire back up to forging temperature. Seven Up time of day. For me, it would be. I definitely should have fetched out a drink with me. It's warm this evening. 77 degrees. I know that's not hot as far as anybody else is concerned, but it's hotter than it gets around here oftentimes, even in the summer, and I like it that way. It was Curly Willow Forge, I think it is, had posted something on TikTok about preferring it hot. And I had to remind her that there are old guys like me who, if we took off any more clothes to be comfortable, people would be yelling to put it back on. She saw the wisdom in that. There we go. So, That should be plenty. You know what helps with this job? Hammer. Now this, for folks who have never seen blacksmithing or new to blacksmithing, this little bit of work I'm doing could be done at the edge of the anvil, but it's not as precise. And since this is first clean set of tongs, I'm shooting for a little more precise than usual. All right, just a little bit of marking so I can see where it is. We'll go forward. For the viewer, definitely. And man, I don't like being called pasty. I prefer ghost-like. I need these things out of my way, not burning cables. That'll do. I'll just have the vise hold on to them for a little while. So yeah, I had a visitor from Australia, probably somebody I know, come on a couple weeks ago. I apologized that he wasn't going to hang out because it was 2 a.m. of their time. And since it was their alias, I didn't know if they're somebody I know or not. But I was like, if I've got somebody from Australia who's willing to get on here at their 2 a.m., I'm willing to come out here and do a little bit of evening live streaming rather than morning live streaming. And then I get some youngster today telling me that this is too early to call evening. Oh, is that you, Paul? That's awesome. It wasn't an alias then. Just my poor memory for names. See if we can get it back where I had it before. Just try not to slip so much as to hit my anvil. I don't have to bring that down a lot. Made one mistake. All right, let's figure it out. The mistake is I bought a caliper, digital caliper, but got ones that are plastic, and I've yet to make myself a set of blacksmithing calipers. So I need to know what I'm measuring to. I'm going for 1, 2, 3. Doesn't make sense to me. Let's do the math. Are those markings wrong? Did they? 1, 2, 3. Those markings are wrong. Oh, I get it. Eighths versus twelfths. I've never seen twelfths on these things before. Okay, that makes more sense. So we're going for a third of an inch. Interesting. That was an accident, but not a bad one. Getting close right there. I've never measured by twelfths before. Oh yeah, still plenty of daylight here. And I've got the fun thing here in Pacific Northwest, which I'm the furthest north I've ever lived now, up here near Seattle, Washington. The tilt of the Earth gives us more hours in the day than I've ever experienced anywhere else. And I assume if I even go further north, that happens even more. But as a result, while the sunset here is roughly a little after 9 p.m., we still end up having light in the sky enough to see by without needing assistance until 10 o'clock at night. So our Independence Day celebration on July 4th, they can't even have decent fireworks here until like, little after 10 o'clock, 10:30. The better fireworks display is actually New Year's. How late does it stay light out there where you are, Trail Dust? I can see that my sun isn't low enough in the sky to actually light my face, so let's fix that. For some reason, the text-to-speech isn't working for me today. This evening, I've got to figure that out. Maybe before tomorrow morning, we'll see. Keep putting it way too deep in the fire. Yeah, I'm the same. I go to bed at 9 o'clock typically. I sleep by 9:30. Up at 5:30. Today's live stream will end around 7:30 my time, which is roughly 2 hours from now, hour and a half. Hour 40 actually. Let's take another bite out of this. Thanks to Trail Dust and his smartness, this thing isn't jumping out of my anvil today. I need more coal in there. Didn't look into my own fire pit. And haven't restocked my coal in the forge in a couple of weekends, so about time I did it. Oh, I forgot to ask you, how did your judging go? Anything really cool to share on the event? Gotcha. I'm going to see if we can actually make this rivet without all the tooling that one should really have to make a rivet, like, you know, a heading tool and a monkey tool and stuff like that. Worst case head scenario is I end up having to go and buy a rivet. Come on, stay where I'm trying to hit you. All right, it's coming along. Bring it out here where it can be seen. And as I said, all of this could be done here on the edge of the anvil. Sharp edge for nice definition right under the head. That's where the monkey tool would come in. And it's a very small head at the moment, but I'm going to end up mushrooming the head on purpose in a little while. So, see if we can get some consistency in here. This is probably not the right way to do it. Well, I already know it's not the right way to do it, but without all the tooling, I don't know that any other smith would do it this way. There's not a lot of videos out there showing people making rivets. Well, there you go. That's what I'm shooting for. One that works. I think what I would normally do, and it may be what I fall back to, is drift the hole bigger and then upset the end of something to make a head. But I thought I'd play with my smithing magician here and see if I could actually accomplish this goal or not. Trying to remember what else it's called. It's not a smithing magician, that's a brand. Guillotine tool, that's it. I'm going to take a moment for a beneficial commercial break here for a second. As soon as I can figure out where my pointer is. I really have to do something about this pointer. Just in case somebody does come along on my channel. And there it is, Smithy focus. And then I'm going to go stand in the right place that this can be seen. Turn my back on you. And call out this shirt so you can see it. Says "Come Hell or High Water," and it's an initiative that's going on in Montana by a couple of smiths named there. The one I'm familiar with is Will Stelter, so if you check his channel out, you'll probably see this. That's how I saw it. And the proceeds for the t-shirt are going to help the folks in Montana who ended up having a devastating flood. And so I ended up buying the t-shirt to support that, and figured if anybody comes along and happens to trip on my my live stream or watch me after the fact and want to help out, I'd let folks know. It's hard to see with so much sunlight. There is a good flame going on in there. You start to see the colors coming up from underneath. There we go. Got a little too hot. It's a heavy hammer, so I don't have to actually give it a lot of swinging to make this work. And also not trying to move the material a lot. So that, I believe, should be more than enough length for a rivet to go through. Ah, that's right. I can now pull this out and take a look at the length. It's best to have more than enough because I can't add any more on the end once I cut it. But it's going to go through 2 of those. And then the rule of thumb is to have on the other end, what was it? 1.5 times the diameter of the rivet. And 1.5 times a third. 1.5 times a third would be a third plus a half a third. So I hate doing maths in thirds because there's no way I'm ever measuring that. Well, maybe. Let's go ahead and put it back to twelfths. 4/12. So that's 6/12, so a ½ inch. Wow. So I would need a ½ inch sticking out past the length of 2 of these. So if I go there, and then I go there, and then another ½ inch, that's well more than a ½ inch. That's more like an inch. So that's well long enough of a rivet. The next thing I'm going to do is warm it up and push this head in a little bit so that I can actually have some mass on the other side of the hole. Probably should have done that ahead of it, but I figured that was plenty. You know what? I don't need to go ahead of it because if I do this from this side and I'm smacking down on this, it's going to start to head this side for me. That'll have just enough lip to keep it where it needs to be. I think that'll be fine. So I'm just going to cut it off. Yeah, if it were, oh, ½ inch, 15 mil, okay. Is that true? 2.54 is an inch. 2.54 centimeters, that's 254, yeah, I don't know. I have to do hard maths. Let me go and do it this way. So supposedly, that's 8.6 millimeters. Let's see if it's 8.6 all the way around, as the circle isn't consistent necessarily. 9, there we go. 9 millimeters is what I've got going on. If I cool that off, I can actually test it with, I can measure it with this. I like millimeters better. It's just that all of my material comes in, to quote a friend, freedom units. So this is just slightly bigger than I need it to be in some spots, and some it's not. So we'll see as I try to put it on. But let's cut it off and go from there. Don't need this anymore. Of course, I made it difficult on myself to make it not bounce around, right? There we go. There's that. Let's grab that with some gloves so I don't burn myself, because all metal is hot. First rule of blacksmithing. And let's cut that off. Don't need that for the moment. What I do need is this. There we go. There are some tools that I've bought that I highly recommend as you get going in blacksmithing. That's one of them. You can get away with just a cutoff wheel on an angle grinder, but if you have to swap it out very often, that gets annoying. And I like wire wheeling with my angle grinder. Yeah. And I'm gonna need that. And if that means that if I don't want to have to sit there and swap them all the time, then I'm gonna buy a second angle grinder. And I may still do that, but about the same price was that Milwaukee mini bandsaw, a portable bandsaw. So really good investment. There are bigger ones when you start getting into bigger stock. All right, so what we want to do is see if this is actually going to go through, or we need to round up some more. I think we're going to have to round some more. Yeah, so it doesn't quite go through yet, but it's close. So back into the fire it goes, and we'll finish that job. Leave those there for a moment. Grab this. This would be a good point to put the tong clip on, so I don't have to go fetching the piece of material that's going to disappear in my fire if I'm not careful. Okay. There we go. I'm definitely getting a second one. Oh, really? Good to know. 30 seconds. Turn on the backlight on the keyboard. Yeah, I definitely like it for my wire wheel. I agree with you. I think I want to put a grinding wheel on there. There's a lot of times where it'd be nice to be able to do some grinding. I have flap discs, but I have a suspicion for the kind of stuff I'm doing, I'm going to want the grinding wheel first. But yeah, I'm definitely going to buy at least one more, and we'll see how many more after that. Coming along. Go ahead and turn on the light for the anvil. The angle of the sun is not coming in useful for me right now. All right. Which one do I want to use? There it is. Let's use the little Hoffe style. Handle's too long, but bring it down just a little bit. Take off the corners. Let's see if that's the fit. No, not quite. Still a little more. I'm worried that I'm going to take it too small, but I probably shouldn't be worried about that. Oh, cool. See how much smaller I have to go with this. There we go. Now I just got to get the rest of the rivet that size. Or drift it. Nah, I'm gonna try and do it the right way. So those who saw me starting this with the guillotine tool are now seeing the other way of doing this, because I wasn't as effective with the guillotine tool as I needed to be. To do it with the guillotine tool, what I've seen done now that I think about it is that instead of having two square-faced dies, you have one square-faced die and one cutout die that is at the height necessary to create an effective rivet. I forgot that's what Black Bear Forge does. So I have to modify one of my dies if I'm going to do this very often. Paul, are you and Trail Dust acquainted already? You hang out in other live streams? My first guess would be that you might hang out in Yamez's stream. He's a really good stream to hang out in, very active. The other one that I know that gets very active is Roy's stream. I always find myself having to take care of chickens or do other chores, so I never get to really do the live streams all that much. Yeah, Island Metal, yep, expected it. I think Yamez is great, and if I had the time, I would definitely be on his stream more often. All right, knock off the crud. Get over here to a sharp edge. Come on. This part is much harder to do without the right tooling. Let's see if that was good enough to do the trick. Probably not. Time to cool the tongs. Oh, there's the drop. Enjoy your beverage of choice. I just cooled off the rivet prematurely. Okay. Is that what his lineup to be? Is midnight Sunday and 8 a.m. Monday? I know it's a Saturday, Sunday for me. Saturday I'm out here. And Sunday I'm typically taking care of the chickens. And then realize, dang it, I missed it again. Don't need this. I know where that can go. Sit under the anvils held by my bolts holding it there. Deeper into the fire. Ah, that's what it is. He's got two different formats for them now, right? One of them's like a tech talk, and the other one's more of a live forging? Or is that just I happen to come along during his stream that way once or twice? That's drink number 2. My turkey likes to sing along with my anvil. Smooth it. Fit it. I might have to, well, I can't do the chat part if I'm out here. Oh, that's Sunday though. Okay, I'm just gonna have to put a reminder on my watch because unfortunately YouTube does a crap job for reminding me when these things are happening. And now it fits. Not quite perfectly straight, but it will be by the time I'm done. Fits through. Fits through. Holy crap, made my first rivet. Well, from a stock other than the size it was to begin with. All right, that is way too much rivet. I only need, what do you say, a 1/2 inch sticking out the top. So now I got to measure a 1/2 inch. I don't need the tongs anymore. I just put the whole dang thing in there. Well, actually, smarter would be just to warm it up first and then smack at it. All right, let's get it measured. Break out the crayon. So, first things first, how big is this thing? All right, I was right to think that it's not that side. That was the one thing I was looking for, a rule like this, a metal rule like this, that had both imperial and metric, and just couldn't find it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's make sure I'm right about this. Measure twice, cut once. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That makes it 5/8. Perfect. So 5/8 plus, so it'd be 10/16 plus 5/16 is 15/16. So like no, I'm doing something wrong. That's not 5/8. That's why. That's 16ths. 5/16. There we go. So that'd be 10/32. That'd be 15/16. That's almost, no, 5/16. 10/32. 15/32. Half inch. Math. I'm actually good at math. Just right now, it's late in the evening for me to be mathing. So a half inch, I was right about that to begin with. Stick with that. Come here, mark it. And the biggest reason I like metric better is, frankly, I find it easier to calculate, and it's more precise to me. But no, we have freedom units. All right. Let's cool this off so I'm not ruining my blade. Find the crayon again. Oh, well, if I had a carpenter's pencil out here. I don't know why I don't own a carpenter's pencil, except that I haven't done any carpentry in a long time. Used to have one all the time when I was helping my stepfather in the trades. He's a drywaller. But honestly, haven't had one since then. That's many, many, many moons ago. I've slept a lot since then. Come on. Just hold still in the direction so I can actually cut you. Aha, I know what I need to do. I'm being stupid. I cooled it off and test to make sure it's not too hot to touch, and put it in the vise and cut it off using the vise. It'll hold it still. Be even better if I didn't twist my vise while I was at it. Need to create some jaw guides. I don't know what they call them, but I know what I'm thinking of. Pull that out just a hair. There we go. That can't be good for my ears, having a sounding board of water barrel, but it's now done. There we go. Oh, that's going to come together real nice. All right, so let's get it out of there. I think I'll go back with my heavy hammer. All right. Yeah, I should never be recorded. Too many things I say out of context could be held against me in a court of law. Well, this is coming close to the time of day where, if it weren't for the big shade trees ahead of me, I would end up blinded by the sun. It's about to get to that angle. As I can tell by the fact that my anvil is now well lit. Getting close. Move that there. Oh, that should work actually just fine. Let me see. If it hasn't swollen too much to get in there. There we go. Don't need that at the moment. Come on. And yeah, too slow. Bending on me all. Let's see if I can. Well, it's swollen up in there, so it's not going anywhere. Now I can see if I can make it pretty. Doubt it, but I can try. And shouldn't need these. So tell me again, Paul, what time it is there? Because I'm pointing on my watch at Sydney, which says it's 11:30, but I don't know if you're in Sydney or you're on the complete opposite side of the country, or somewhere in the middle. Now, the big difference between me and you guys is nobody's ever paid me to do this kind of work. I never did learn a trade other than to help out a little bit with the drywalling. Instead, I ended up being too easily scattered and interested in like everything all at once. And that seemed to work out great for somebody that wanted to get into tech. That's what I did. Oh, just north of Brisbane. Okay. Brisbane. Sorry. I know I've got a friend or two over there just to yell at me about that. Fellow techies that live over there. But I was in love with blacksmithing from my youth. Every time there was some blacksmith I could hang out near, I would do so. It was just too cool to watch them do this work. So like I said, not a pretty rivet. But rivets don't have to be pretty to do their job. Now let's get it so it actually moves. All right, come on. There we go. Open it up, close it a few times. That's more than enough of movement. It's being stopped by the actual nibs there, and that's fine. That is perfect. Now the question is, will it be able to hold the things I want it to hold? I specifically made these because I got tiny stuff to hold on to now from mistakes from before. And indeed, it does. Adjust the jaws to be best suited for it. There we go. Nice, nice. The only thing I have to ask myself is, do I care whether or not they're offset or not? It's an easy thing to do, to put a little S bend in here and the same S bend in this side, but it's also not necessary. There's the grabbing of your fingers in a pair of left-held right-handed tongs. In other words, I'm a right-handed person, they're held in my left hand. Ends up pulling it just like you would with scissors in such a way that you don't really have to have them laying over the top of each other. So that really can be considered done. Give it a brush off so that I can then wax it. I'm going to wait and and use them for the purposes that I've currently made them before thinking about putting any kind of teeth in the jaws, because for what I need them for now, they don't need teeth. And I don't think that the teeth would benefit them any. All right. Still plenty hot to do the wax. As in too hot still to do the wax. Hot all the way up into there, you can see it. I'll run it down in there. Try not to burn my arm hair off, what little I have. Or catch the camera on fire, that would be fun. GoPros are tough though, right? The smokes are volatiles. They actually can catch the fire if the area around the smoke is hot enough. There we go, it's cooling off. And all this is for is to slow the progression of steel to rust, iron to rust. The inevitable changes of the world. Reading a book right now that's an interesting read. Won't go into details to what the book is about, but one of the concepts that is, it's a science fiction work, and one of the concepts is the old adage of the one true constant is change. And in this book, they basically name that fact God. And that is what makes us a tool of God, is that we affect change. Try to make it for the best. There we go. That's right, the rate of change is not constant. And as you get older, it always seems to be faster. That's what makes it scary. But if you can be odd like me and actually live your life embracing change, it's not as scary. All right, that is a done pair of tongs. Could I do a little cleanup work on them? I think I could, but do I need to do any more work on them? Absolutely not. They are functional. And they ain't half bad looking, and more importantly, I'll show it into the camera, the one thing they aren't going to be is scrap pile material, because I overworked them in the creation of them. I did not overwork them this time, and therefore no stress risers that I can actually see, and I think I left it thick enough in here that there shouldn't be any risks. I'll bring out the other set that has the same kind of problem. Made all of these, all three of these pairs were made using railroad spikes, but you can see in here the way I had been working them, I would end up creating stress risers, cold shuts that would turn into stress risers, and I am certain that one of these two are going to probably come off one day just because of the, I'll be pinching down pretty hard on something and it'll snap, just like these did. The biggest difference is these were heavier reins, these are more springy reins, and then I made these more springy as well, but left a bit more heaviness here at the boss. So I really don't have a whole lot of fear that these things are going to go bad on me. So pretty happy with that. And my first ball-ended tongs on top of that. So again, not necessary. Provides some functionality, but not functionality that you can't get another way. But was fun to do it. And again, I could make those even prettier. I think that's another thing I did different this time is the areas where a cold check could happen, I put to this end instead of to this end. So reduce the risk of producing a bad boss. So happy with that. That took a long time to get a rivet done, but I did it. Be a little critical on it. I don't think the rivet heads look too bad. They would definitely look better if I had rivet headers. And clearly on one side I had more material than the other. But again, not bad. Pretty happy with myself. Definitely have to get a photo of that and get it up on Instagram, Facebook. All right, what do I want to do now? That'd be a fun thing to do. Actually, I know what I want to do now. I just need to find the old project I didn't finish. This is another thing I can work on another day. Making a version of this. Now that I've got a better handle on my fire, I plan on making a version of this that doesn't have the hook on the end. That's not today. What I want to do today is finish up an old project that I didn't think I'd be able to do because I was working with the wrong kind of fire. Where did I put it? Ah, there it is. So this is a piece of Damascus in the process. And that was done in my gas forge before I messed up my burners. So what I need to do now is finish the job. And a coal forge should make that possible. And make myself a little ridiculous. I don't need to use this tongs. Put these away for the moment. Pull these out. But this was a billet that I bought from Daniel Moss. Trust me, I'm a blacksmith. I don't know, a year and a half ago. To try my hand at creating some Damascus for the silly purpose of creating a Damascus center punch. So it's about damn time I finish that process. Now that I've got a fire that is most definitely capable of getting hot enough. But first I need to warm it up, see if I can take some of the forge scale off, and then finish the cleanup of the ends and forging in of the twists I made. You making one from scratch? Or I've been thinking about throwing some money at Roy to buy his kit. What I haven't decided yet, and I could do air-powered, given that the compressor really doesn't take a whole lot of power.
and so I could run it off the EcoFlow I've got here. But the one thing that's slowing me down is there are other treadle hammer designs that do a consistent, what's that? Hammer face to anvil, and therefore I could put top tools underneath it. And I don't know that I haven't seen him demonstrate it with any top tools. That's my biggest concern, is it would be nice to have that top tool capability. I may have to comment on one of his videos to see if he will demonstrate using a top tool with it. You gonna take any video of it and put it up on your channel? And when I say put it up on your channel, I don't know if you actually maintain a channel or not, but it's easy enough to put things up on a channel that you just create tomorrow, today, whatever. All right. So clearly this thing's going to get up to temp very easily. All right. I keep trying to, when I do join Island Metal Forge, I keep trying to follow the folks who comment in there, figure out if they have YouTube channels so I can follow them. There's no way to link out from there to do so. Power hammer, nice. Uh-oh. Looks like I've got a problem with video feeds. What the heck? Like, 2 of my video sources just died. Let's see if we can figure out why. Speaking of technical skills, right? I bet I know what happened with at least one of them. I bet my GoPro overheated. Wouldn't surprise me if my little webcam I use for the fire also overheated. That might be an indication that I have to quit for the day. Do this earlier. Ah, okay, so that reset the camera. That camera. What about this camera? Let's try a different battery. Yep, that did it. I'll have to look at the health of the other battery after this. Okay. Hmm. There we go. Back in action. More than likely, the sun beating down on the camera put it at its end, especially since I was also keeping it charged at the same time. GoPros just weren't meant for this. I do have another camera here I'll be setting up soon, so I don't have to move it around for the other views in the Smithy. A couple more professional tools are coming to make my life easier. One of the benefits of working in tech is I can play with all the toys. All right, let's see if we can do a little bit more. That sun beating down on it can really obscure what the temperature is of the material. Interesting. And I was wrong. That sun is still high enough in the sky and not blocked enough yet by the shade trees. That's what's happening, is just where the position of the sun is. It's going to blind me. On the plus side, in a minute, I won't need any lighting in here at all. All right, Trail Dust, you have a great weekend. I got about 30 more minutes and then I have to pack it up for the night. So I can help with the care of my father-in-law. Get a little dinner. There's a part of me that thinks I should put some flux on that and get it up to welding temperatures again. But there's a part of me that also says it won't do any good, because those are basically cold shuts at this point that'll have to get ground away. I don't think I can get them clean enough to forge weld them together again. But the one thing I know is if I fail, it's no different than if I hadn't tried. So let's do it. Okay. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay. I've got the vinegar to work with. I'm going to get it up to temperature and then I'll let it cool. That way the little bit of flux that I put on there just now will basically cook off. I'm always throwing way more air in there than I need to. I need to cool my jets, literally. Yep, already I can see it's a hotter fire than it had been. I got the forging temperature. I don't know if that's a good thing for the fact that I'm not planning on forge welding at the moment, but whew, the glove would have been handy right now. It's hot enough that you guys can even see how hot that is right now. There's another drink. I don't know if I just burnt that big old gap in there, or if it was already there and I just didn't notice it. Next time I wear a glove. But that's it for that attempt tonight. Really didn't mean to attempt it just now, but yeah, I burnt it. That should result in some interesting patterns though once I do get it forge welded together again. But tonight, we clear it off, pickle it. Fascinating. I keep learning that this fire can get hotter and faster, faster than I even have ever been used to. Still learning the differences between a charcoal and a coal fire. All right, we're going to let that cool off. Yep. That'll cool off. What else did I have to work on? I have a few different things to work on, but none of which I really want to try and get started 25 minutes, 20 minutes before I'm supposed to call it a night. I may end up calling it a night early for lack of a good reason to actually start a new project right here at the end. Well, Paul, I really, yeah. No, charcoal gets hot very quick. I can tell you the coal gets hot really quick. Charcoal, I'm not saying doesn't get hot quick, but I was not prepared when I switched over to coal with just how hot things get and how fast they get that hot. I have made too many, I've burnt too much metal now to not know better, but I still keep making the mistake because I just haven't done it enough with varying sizes of metal. That's why I have all these silly leaves. It's because I kept trying to make a leaf on the end of a, let's see if I've got tongs here I can grab with. Kept trying to make a leaf on the end of this railroad spike. And you can see that railroad spike's looking a little burnt. And that's because I kept burning off the leaf I'd make on it. So it gets very hot very fast. And I just have to get used to that. I also have to get used to not having to throw so much air at it because I'm probably just pushing air past and missing the mark as far as how much air it needs to do its job. Yeah, charcoal and coke. Yep. Well, this is basically me just turning, here, I'll pull some up to see. I've got this this great pea coal that was given to me by a dear friend down in South Florida. I'm not sure where they get it from. Let's see here. Does it say? Pennsylvania. It's Pennsylvania coal. This pea coal cokes up real easy. And then I burn things. Historically, that's how it's gone. So, all this up front obviously is coke. And man, it'll just burn through a piece of metal pretty fast. if I get too aggressive with heating something up. In other words, get to talking too much, or don't realize just how hot something is underneath the bed of coals or coke. I always start my fire with charcoal though. I got two barrels here that I keep fuel in. One is full of charcoal, one is full of coal that I then am throwing in the back. In the very back here, you can see me poking with the ad hoc rake I've got here. That's another thing I have to make, is a new rake. You know, something that looks like a rake instead of just acts like one. And then it cooks back there, and I just keep pulling it forward. But the first thing I had to learn is how coke will go out when there's no air being sent to it. So I have to keep. I had a hard time getting it started. It was really funny the first time I was trying to light my own, instead of my buddy doing it, light my own coal fire. I just couldn't get it going. And it turned out it's because balls of paper don't start coke, well, especially coal, because I didn't even have coke at that point, but don't start coal on fire. They start charcoal on fire just fine. So that's what I do now. Start my fire every morning before the stream with a few lumps of charcoal that I've either bought, or in this case, you can see, you might recognize the form factor of old 2x4. So I bake that in my paper burning barrel. Start my fire in the morning, pull the coke on top of it, and then I'm ready to go. And then, as a result, I can just keep working around the shop, getting things set up, and not worry that it's all going to go out, because the charcoal will just keep on going. So that is, as they say, that. Thank you, Paul, for stopping in. I did this explicitly for you, and I really appreciate seeing that you jumped on here and hung out with us. Hopefully some of my peers in the tech industry will end up seeing this and jumping on at some point. Well, you Aussies can then talk, you know, about us Yanks not knowing how to say things like Brisbane. But cheers to you, and have a great weekend. I will catch you next time. I'm going to probably try to do this every Friday. If it doesn't happen every Friday, then I'll try to at least do it every other Friday, just so I can, you know, continue to have that opportunity to chit-chat with you. Love and light. Oops. Shouldn't be moving that around.